Recording in progress.
Time. Hi, folks. Thanks for streaming. This episode of Yumio to Ohanashi features an engineer, gamer, and beloved husband of Azshure Raine, who was featured in the 8th episode, Ryan Krouch from Maryland. Thanks for joining here, Ryan. So, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure.
Yes.
I've been a lifelong gamer since very very young. Probably actually her age, if not even younger than that. I've been, I guess, married to Lacey for 14 years,
14.
and
Wow.
been yeah been we met in video games. Video games has been a big part of my
Video
life,
game. Oh,
honestly.
I see. So, it's a video game. It's like a video game community, or?
I tend to gravitate towards Final Fantasy, but I really don't have a specific genre that I play other than, so I do a lot of JRPGs. I do a lot of the 4X strategy games. I like the SimCity type games, City
SimCity.
Skylines.
I see. So this interview is a little different from my normal ones with our authors. So basically, gamers. So my very first question to you, what is your gaming history? So for instance, I started from Nintendo Famicom with the Spartan X Kung Fu Master, and the last one I had was PlayStation 2 with Gradius 5. So how about you?
Oh, sheesh. I started with
Mm-hmm.
an Atari
Atari?
2600.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
The game that really sticks out in my head the most from back then would probably be Pitfall,
Mm-hmm.
and my most
Uh-huh.
recent is all the way up to today. I have a PlayStation 5 here. We have we're big gamers.
So the you have a lot of game consoles from PlayStation to Xbox?
I don't have actually. I owned an Xbox many years ago. I haven't actually owned any Xboxes in
Uh-huh.
recent history.
I see. Because yeah, I was surprised how American people love Xbox compared to Japanese people. In Japan, Xbox wasn't as successful, so I was surprised when I noticed that there are so many families of Xbox in America. And how about the? Let's take a look at this question. Among the big two JRPG, which one do you pick? Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy? You cannot pick both. You have to pick one.
Definitely Final Fantasy.
Uh-huh.
I have played both.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my most recent Dragon Quest would be 11,
Oh,
but
really?
I haven't really played too much in Dragon Quest. Definitely invested way more time in Final Fantasy.
I see. So your pick was Final Fantasy. So the among its long-running serialization, which one do you consider top three?
Ooh, see, that's a tough question. Top three. Number one is definitely Final Fantasy VI,
Uh-huh.
by a long
Uh-huh.
shot. Number two is probably going to be seven, and then number three is Final Fantasy IX.
Nine. I see. Because
Hmm.
the I kind of gave up from Final Fantasy 8, and because 7's kind of alienated me because of the character design, because they kind of replaced Amano Yoshitaka to the current one. And
Hmm.
I see. And which one do you think is the too experimental in Final Fantasy that you kind of almost gave up?
Ooh, that would definitely be eight. Eight
8.
was a little bit out there. The materia junction system, it was just rather confusing.
Yes, I
It
think
did
so.
have some pretty innovative and pretty cool things, like the enemy scaling was set up such that it matched the player's level instead of like pushing for the grind. But eight was definitely the one that I struggled with getting all the way
Yes,
through.
me too. Because 8 was not just the story is kind of a scrambled, but also the game system was pretty confusing. The same goes to not 2 with me. Final Fantasy two's game system was pretty confusing. So,
Hmm.
and how about the which video game console? No. What kind of world building do you expect from a RPG in general, such as Middle Earth, sci-fi, dystopia?
Um, I actually don't discriminate. I love them all within reason.
Mm-hmm.
It has to kind of fit, I guess, the overall theme of the game, right? It really has to give you that immersion. It has to kind of
Mm-hmm.
y- you have to have kind of the, if it's a sci-fi game, I expect guns that versus swords,
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. Steampunk, I guess, would be kind of like the genre too, where I would expect swords and guns,
Steampunk.
but if it's something like, yeah. Oh, sheesh. Can't really even elaborate on that at this point. This brain went.
I see. Well, thank you,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
the
thank you
break.
so much. And how about the which game console? Yes, we have a lot of great game console, but which one do you think this was an absolute disaster? Because for me, Virtual Boy, Virtual Boy was absolute disaster.
Nailed it. Virtual Boy.
Mm-hmm,
Virtual Boy is pretty rough. Honestly, most of the VR,
mm-hmm,
for me personally, I
mm-hmm,
can't really do. I get really
mm-hmm.
motion sick really easily, so a lot of the VR ones are pretty rough. But Virtual Boy
Yes,
is
yes.
definitely
That was
the next level
Nintendo suicide, I
of
think.
rough.
Yes, because in Japan, lots of those gamers said after they play the Virtual Boy, they become headache and become seasick, and this is not a game.
Yes, exactly.
I see. And what was the hardest game you have played so far? So, such as to me, Famicom Nintendo, the Dragon Slayer, that was pretty difficult and I couldn't complete. How about you?
Um, Demon Souls is
Demon
definitely
Souls?
far and away one of the most difficult games, especially the remake on the PS5. Honestly, that's the first time I played it, but
Mm-hmm.
I got maybe halfway through the castle and just
Uh-huh.
said, "Nope, I'm done." I couldn't keep up.
Demon Sword. Which company?
I'm actually not sure which company that is.
I
I could look
see.
it up,
Maybe
but I really don't.
I gotta look up it later on. So Demon Sword, I see, and it has a PlayStation 5 version too as well.
Yes. Yep.
And how about the which game did you make you throw your game controller onto the floor? Such as the in my case, Rockman, Mega Man, the first Mega Man. I threw my controller to tatami because it was too difficult, and Yellow Devil was absolutely Yellow Devil. So how about you? Do you have any of those games?
Um, I
Hmm.
can say a boss specifically in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the
Uh
Hell
huh.
House really made me angry.
Oh really?
I didn't quite get to the point where I threw my controller because I'm paying for them now. But
Hmm.
if I could go way back,
Hmm.
I would probably have to go to Super Mario Brothers 2. I actually really struggled with
Ah.
that game. I
So
loved
the
it, but I really struggled.
yes, Super Mario 2 was absolutely too difficult, I think, because the yes,
Yes.
Super Mario 1, Nintendo got big success, but then Super Mario 2 in Japan it was released a disc system, which then wasn't very successful game console. But the lots of kids got stranded with the Super Mario 2's difficulty. That's why Super Mario 3, Nintendo I think toned down the difficulty. I think. Okay, so the how about the which game's ending heavily moved your emotions and made you literally cry in front of a TV monitor? Do you have it?
Ooh. Yes, I have a couple.
Yes, please.
The most recent one would be Final Fantasy 16. The ending was
16?
really rough. Not to spoil it or anything, but the pet wolf howls, and that's where I was done.
Uh-huh. What else?
The other ones
Mhm.
would probably be so 10. 10 was pretty rough emotionally, right? With I guess I can spoil it now. It's 20 years old, but with
Uh-huh.
Titus disappearing, and it was one of those just emotional scenes that just it got me.
Yes, I think that was like Final Fantasy VI when the scene where party members were separated and Sid got very sick and he passed away and the other girl was trying to make a suicide. Did you remember
Oh
scene?
yeah,
And
you
that scene
can
was pretty
save him.
impressive. And I think Final Fantasy VI was the pretty Sid was featured in a pretty miserable way, I think, compared to other series.
Yeah.
Yes, and Final Fantasy 3, the dungeon where only those the like a Dark Knight can slash those enemies. That dungeon was pretty
hmm
difficult for me too. And how about the which game do you think is totally underrated and why?
Okay, so
Mm,
from an
mm,
American audience
mhm,
perspective, the game to me that's totally underrated is Final Fantasy, or sorry, not Final Fantasy, sorry, Tactics Ogre
uh-huh,
and
uh-huh,
Ogre Battle.
mm,
I loved both,
mhm.
and I felt like they were both very complete games, very coherent stories, very strong world building, good cast,
Yes, it
character
is.
development, the whole shebang. But not many people in
Really?
America or in the States
Hmm.
really played those games, and at least from from Tactics
Mhm.
Ogre's perspective, there really a lot of people just kind of, I guess they didn't really get it, and they didn't really play it.
So maybe those chaos frame system and law, neutral and dark was kind of a difficult for American audience.
Yeah.
I think because we play Megami Tensei, a digital devil story series, later turned into Persona. Megami Tensei series got big success in Japan, and that's why we were pretty much aware. We were pretty much noticeable of those raw, light, and dark, so neutral and dark. That's why the Ogre series, Ogre Battle and the Tactics Ogre, was enthusiastically accepted in Japan, especially Japanese gamers. But unfortunately, these two got big standard for Japanese audience. That's why many Japanese audience got turned down by Final Fantasy Tactics, even though I loved it. It's a Final Fantasy Tactics. Some people say it's a cosplay ogre, cosplay ogre battle. So. How about the yes? Okay, so how about the which game characters, regardless of age, gender, ethnicity, or even non-human, do you think you can be good friends in your real life, and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. If I had to pick specific characters, I would definitely go with Kimari from 10. He's very aloof. Always watching, kind of the protective older brother, if you will, of Yuna. I would definitely pick Edgar from Final Fantasy VI because he just seems like a lot of fun. He's kind of the obviously he's the ladies' man, but he's really a caring person. I'm sure there's a lot more. I'd love to be great friends with Cloud Zack. The cat. I'd say everybody in 7.
Yes, I remember 7 when the dating event happens, and if crowd picked the macho guy, the dialogue was pretty funny. It was like, why you pick me or something like that. That was pretty funny. I see. And do you recommend playing video games, regardless of old or new, to your friends, family members, or co-workers?
I do to an extent. Most of the people that I work with, they're kind of I try to separate those two. I have work friends, but I really don't discuss much in the way of hobbies with them. But definitely with like family and friends, I recommend video games often, especially if it's ones that I've really enjoyed personally.
Yes, I think it's great for children because when I was a kid, my parents hated video games. So my parents always said, "Don't play video games." So Nintendo Famicom more than 1 hour every day, but I played it almost every day. So,
Right.
Yes. Finally, any message to those listening or watching this interview?
I have actually one personal message, and this may be a little weird or awkward.
Sure.
I am a 4-year
please go ahead.
cancer survivor, and I was diagnosed with testicular cancer on April 6th of 2020. I'm now 4 years cancer free. So I always recommend people to check out the Testicular Cancer Foundation. Recommend it to children, friends, basically anyone that has or could possibly have testicular cancer. It's a great organization, and they kind of walk you through early detection, and early detection is key.
Yes, a health checkup is always important, and that's what I'm kind of aware of after I passed 40 years old. So anyhow, thank you very much, Ryan. So folks, if you're interested in Ryan, follow his account at LAITHINA. Truly appreciate your participation in this segment, Ryan. So wish you great success, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.